I get to understand that Mr. Peter Obi's trusted ally, Obazi Oseloka, has dumped the Labour Party, and it dawned on me that it is just a matter of time before Mr. Peter Obi leaves the Labour Party. It is just a matter of time before Mr. Peter Obi will announce his exit from the Labour Party. Oseloka, while making that announcement, said he is not joining any political party for now. And then I also saw a news from Punch that there are indications that the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar may have offered Mr. Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate, a vice president role in a joint single-term ticket. Punch is reporting that this discussion was held earlier this year between Mr. Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar in the United Kingdom. According to the source, Atiku Abubakar is committed to serving a single 4-year term, and Obi has agreed to be the former VP's running mate. I think at this point, everyone will definitely agree that this is the best option that is left for us to rescue Nigeria out from the hands of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But my only problem here is the desperation of Atiku Abubakar. It is this level of desperation that brought us to where we are today. It is this kind of desperation that made President Muhammadu Buhari to become the president, and he wasted Nigerians 4 years. It is this level of desperation that also brought Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president. 2 years in as president, it has gotten worse than it were before. So I am very, very uneasy with this level of arrangement with Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar is very, very desperate to become the president, because if it is not all about desperation, what exactly does Atiku Abubakar want to do in 4 years as president? What exactly does he want to achieve? What is that policies of Atiku Abubakar that he thinks it can be implemented, that he cannot hand it over to someone else to implement and support that person to become the president? Atiku Abubakar is an elder statesman. Atiku Abubakar also has his own loyalists. Atiku Abubakar also has his own support base that can be galvanized to make anybody the president. Why is Atiku Abubakar not looking in that direction? Why is Atiku Abubakar bent on becoming the president? Why is he always bent on being on the ballot? It is this same desperation of Atiku Abubakar that ensured that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan did not continue in 2015. It is this same desperation of Atiku Abubakar that brought APC to power. Atiku Abubakar was in PDP, but because of his desperation to become the president, he left the PDP and helped in the formation of APC. It is this same desperation of Atiku Abubakar that made him to leave the APC and came back to the PDP. It is this same desperation of Atiku Abubakar that made him to contest the 2023 presidential election, when the optics and the pointers were pointing towards the ticket going to the south. If not for the desperation of Atiku Abubakar, the PDP ticket would have been micro-zoned to the south, not just the south, but the southeast, and that would have not given Nyesom Wike the edge to contest that election. If not for the desperation of Atiku Abubakar, PDP would have supported Mr. Peter Obi, who was the only viable candidate to deliver the presidential election to them. If not for the desperation of Atiku Abubakar, PDP would have won the 2023 presidential election. If not for the desperation of Atiku Abubakar, PDP would have still been intact by now, even if they did not win the 2023 presidential election. But it was that his desperation that clashed with the ego of Nyesom Wike that made PDP where it is today. And Atiku Abubakar is yet to realize that his desperation has not only caused the PDP as a political party, but has plunged Nigeria into unbearable hardship, has plunged Nigeria into rudderless leadership. Atiku Abubakar is here to backtrack in his desperation. He is still continuing on that same lane of desperation. He knows that he cannot win the presidential election alone. He ran the election alongside Ifeanyi Okowa, who has so far decamped to the APC. Atiku Abubakar knows that his bet to becoming the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is to have Mr. Peter Obi in his camp. Of course, Mr. Peter Obi has shown in the last election that he has a capacity, he has a clout, he has a recognition, he has a nationwide reach to win election in Nigeria. Mr. Peter Obi won the 2023 presidential election, but that election was rigged. All Mr. Peter Obi needs so far is a coalition, a support base from the north to stand behind him so that he can win the 2027 presidential election. And Atiku Abubakar is trying to leverage on this cloud, on this recognition of Mr. Peter Obi to become the president in 2027. That is the reason why he's offering a one-time ticket. I have no issue against that one-time ticket, but my only problem is that the optics, the pointer so far is pointing towards south. Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a president is a southerner. If we have to go by the official INEC result that announced Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of Nigeria in 2023, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the people's popularized choice. When you combine the result of the person that came second, who is Atiku Abubakar and Mr. Peter Obi, they supersede that of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's the first time we are having this kind of result. In previous result, it was not so. But in the back-end result, Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not win the election. That election was rigged in his favor. Mr. Peter Obi won that election. Peter Obi is the people's choice. In as much as the people did not select Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he selected himself. He announced himself as the president. And ever since Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office, he has been suffering from legitimacy issue. He has been suffering from recognition. The people are yet to recognize him as their president. In the midst of all of this, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed to deliver on the mandates that brought him to power. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed to deliver on the dividends of democracy. Whatever Bola Ahmed Tinubu met on ground, he has made them worse. Nigerians are going through the most difficult period in the history of this country. It is more like we have no government at all. We have a rudderless leadership so far in Nigeria. So Nigerians are willing and anticipating to see Bola Ahmed Tinubu go in 2027. They are desperately waiting for the 2027 presidential election to come so they can vote him out the same way he was not voted in 2023. And of course, they are prepared to match INEC madness. They are prepared to match the rigging machine of INEC. But all of this will be made easy and possible if a southerner is on the ballot. Of course, the optics and perception is that a southerner should take over from Bola Ahmed Tinubu if by any means Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to be voted out in 2027. Nigeria is a multi-complex and multi-tribal country. Everything we do, there is an element of tribal sentiment in it. The North has ruled for 8 years, and the South will also want to have that feelings of ruling for 8 years. That is the reason why you're seeing people saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu should complete his 8 years in office, whether he's doing the right thing or not. To them, it is all about completion of 8 years of a southern presidency, whether Nigeria burns or not. But to the average Nigerians on the streets, it is about survival. It is about the continuation of this entity called Nigeria. It is about them having a purpose in this country. That is why a southerner will prefer Bola Ahmed Tinubu to continue than a northerner being voted in office. Not just a southerner, but Mr. Peter Obi. It is Mr. Peter Obi because Mr. Peter Obi is the only presidential candidate that has the reach, the recognition, the clout, the nationwide acceptance, the number, the block vote to defeat Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. He did that in 2023 with the Labour Party, a relatively unknown political party that he joined in just 6 months. And in 6 months, he was able to make the Labour Party to become a national party. And in 6 months, Mr. Peter Obi was able to make unknown politicians to win election under Labour Party. Mr. Peter Obi is the biggest opposition politician in Nigeria. He is the only opposition politician that the presidency is scared of. Atiku Abubakar is aware that Mr. Peter Obi has the capacity to win the 2027 presidential election. All Mr. Peter Obi needs so far is that support base from that core north, the northwest and the northeast. And that is the support base that Atiku Abubakar can give to Mr. Peter Obi. And when I'm talking about Atiku Abubakar, I'm talking about some of the other northern politicians like El-Rufai. Atiku Abubakar should play as an elder statesman. He can be given an advisory role in the next government. He can be asked to provide someone that will serve in a key position in the government. To me, I think this is better for Atiku Abubakar because considering his age and the time, it will be very difficult for him to win election. Definitely very difficult. Atiku Abubakar will be 80 years in 2027. And definitely that is going to work against him. President Muhammadu Buhari became the president at an old age and he complained that he was not able to do most of the things because of his age. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is equally older and he is not even able to do anything, and I'm sure it is also because of his age. What exactly will Atiku Abubakar offer Nigerians at 80 years? He will definitely offer nothing. All you need to do is to support a younger and vibrant candidate. Atiku Abubakar will be best suited in an advisory role than a presidential candidate or as a president. But the report is stating that Peter Obi has agreed to become his vice presidential candidate in a one-term ticket. The goal is to remove Bola Tinubu in 2027, and I agree with that. And whatever thing it will take to ensure that Bola Tinubu is removed as president in 2027 is well welcome. But whatever agreement Mr. Peter Obi is having with Atiku Abubakar, that agreement should be backed with a legal document, not just a legal document. All key political players in this country, major political players in this country, should be a signatory to that document. People like Olusegun Obasanjo should be part of that document. Again, I'm not very optimistic about this kind of arrangement, and I did not see it bringing the good that Nigerians are expecting from their politicians, because I've experienced something like that. It is not needful for you to put someone that is vibrant as the vice presidential candidate simply because you feel that the person does not have the political clout and reach to win an election. This was the arrangement the APC had in 2015 when they made President Muhammadu Buhari the president and Yemi Osinbajo as the vice president. All through his 8 years in office, Yemi Osinbajo was very docile as the vice president. President Muhammadu Buhari Kolasa 8 years in office rub off on Yemi Osinbajo, and many Nigerians were saying, if you have something to offer, why didn't you offer it as a vice presidential candidate? That soiled the CV of Yemi Osinbajo. Being the vice president to President Muhammadu Buhari made him unpalatable to Nigerians. This is what I'm scared about Atiku Abubakar. I don't think Atiku Abubakar at this age can do any reform, can reposition Nigeria into the right path in 4 years. And if he fails to do that, and as Peter Obi as the vice president, it is going to rub off on Mr. Peter Obi. It is going to soil the reputation and CV of Mr. Peter Obi. Many Nigerians may not have that confidence on Mr. Peter Obi again if Atiku Abubakar end up wasting 4 years of their tenure. It's all going to be the same issue that we experienced between Yemi Osinbajo and President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Peter Obi is a vibrant politician. We all know that Mr. Peter Obi has the capacity to do the right thing for this country. We all know that Mr. Peter Obi can reposition Nigeria. We all know that Mr. Peter Obi has the antecedent and expertise. He should be made the president, not the vice president. Anything that will make Mr. Peter Obi the vice president will definitely soil his reputation and CV. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.